Scorpio, September 30, is not just another date on the calendar. It is a cosmic siren echoing through the corridors of your soul, a final warning that the universe will no longer whisper but shout, demanding that you pay attention, because 3 karmic lessons are now standing like immovable guardians at the gate of your destiny. And if you fail to learn them, the door will close and the cycle will repeat until your spirit is exhausted. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast storm, lightning flashing, not to destroy you, but to illuminate the hidden cracks in your path, showing you where you have stumbled again and again. This day is that lightning, fierce, brilliant, and uncompromising, and it will not allow you to look away. For too long, Scorpio, you have felt the weight of invisible chains, patterns of betrayal, the urge to control, and the fear of loss that seem to stalk you no matter how much you fight, as if life itself was conspiring to test you endlessly. But what if I told you that these chains are not punishment? They are lessons, and until you learn them, you cannot be free. September 30th is the threshold moment, the ringing of a bell that tells you the karmic classroom is closing, and you must either graduate or repeat the same lesson with heavier consequences. The universe is asking, will you break the cycle or will you remain in it, watching the same faces hurt you, the same situations drain you, the same fears imprison you? This is not about fear-mongering. It is about awakening, because within this warning lies a hidden gift, the chance to finally break free. Think of it as a mirror shattering in front of you, each shard reflecting a truth you have denied, each piece daring you to pick it up and look at your own reflection without distortion. The cosmos has aligned this date not as coincidence, but as a karmic checkpoint, a moment designed to shake you awake so that you can step into the light of transformation. Scorpio, the question is simple yet terrifying. Will you choose to evolve or will you choose to repeat? Scorpio, when you look back over your life, can you feel how karma has always seemed heavier on your shoulders than on others? As though you were chosen to carry not only your own lessons, but the echoes of generations before you. A backpack filled with invisible stones pressing down every time you try to rise. This is not your imagination, for Scorpio is the sign of transformation, the alchemist of the Zodiac, and with that gift comes the burden of walking through fire more than once, until the fire itself becomes your teacher. Picture a river slowly filling with drops of water, each drop a decision made in anger, in fear, in longing, in hope, and over time the river swells until it carves a canyon through your soul. That is karma, shaping you with each repeated pattern until you see the message hidden inside. Perhaps you've noticed how the same betrayals return under different faces, how the same struggles for control resurface in new situations. How the same fear of loss tightens its grip whenever something beautiful enters your life. This is not coincidence, Scorpio. It is design, the universe circling you back saying, not yet. You haven't learned. Karma is not here to punish you. It is here to polish you, to grind away the illusions until only the diamond of truth remains. But diamonds are born under pressure, and you, more than any other sign, are forged to withstand that weight. You have been asking why life feels like a battlefield, why trust is always tested, why the path of love, money, or peace never comes easily. And the answer is this: you are not cursed. You are being trained. Every time you stumble, the karmic loop whispers, do you see it now? Will you choose differently this time? And though it feels like chains, the truth is, those chains are keys in disguise. Once you recognize the lesson, the lock dissolves and the door opens. Imagine carrying a heavy bag all your life, only to discover it was full of feathers, disguised as rocks, that the weight you felt was not real, but created by your refusal to set it down. September 30th will press this truth against your chest like a burning seal. And if you dare to see it, the fire that once consumed you will become the light that guides you forward. Scorpio, the first karmic lesson that has haunted your path is the trap of betrayal. A wound that seems to echo again and again, no matter how many times you promise yourself never to fall into it again. For betrayal in your life is not random, but a karmic mirror reflecting the deepest question of trust, of who you allow into your sacred circle, and how much of your soul you give without discernment. Think of betrayal as a serpent hiding in tall grass, silent, waiting for the moment when your guard drops, when you are closest to joy, when your heart is open. And then it strikes, not to kill you, but to awaken you. Each time someone you loved, trusted, or confided in turned their back, the wound was not meant to end you. It was meant to carve wisdom into your spirit, teaching you that not every smile is pure, not every promise is sacred, not every hand extended is meant to hold you. Yet the trap is that Scorpio, with your deep loyalty and intense passion, often answers betrayal with fire, rage, revenge, silence sharper than knives, and though the reaction feels justified, it secretly ties you tighter to the karmic wheel, repeating the cycle until you learn the higher lesson. The universe has not been cruel in sending you these betrayals. It has been determined, knowing that only through such piercing pain can you awaken to the art of boundaries, the wisdom of discernment, the strength of forgiveness. Forgiveness here does not mean pretending the wound never existed. It means releasing the poison so it does not travel with you into tomorrow. For when you carry the venom of betrayal, it shapes your choices, and you find yourself surrounded again by mirrors of the same wound. Imagine your heart as a garden. Every act of betrayal is a weed that grows wild, choking the roses of love, and your instinct has been to burn the entire garden in anger. But the true lesson is to pull the weeds without destroying what is still blooming. September 30th will place this lesson before you with startling clarity, perhaps through a familiar face, a repeated situation, or even a sudden memory. And you will feel that familiar sting of distrust rising again. Yet this time, Scorpio, you are not meant to lash out or retreat into icy silence. You are meant to pause, to see the serpent for what it is, an awakener, not an enemy. The healing lies not in denying betrayal, but in mastering how you respond to it, learning to guard your heart without caging it, learning to trust without being blind, learning to forgive without inviting the wound back in. This is the karmic lesson that repeats until it is learned. Betrayal will always come when your soul is on the brink of a breakthrough, testing if you will lose yourself in rage or rise into wisdom. The trap is choosing to relive the same story. The freedom is realizing that each betrayal is not a wall but a doorway, forcing you to choose a higher path, one where loyalty begins with yourself, where your power is not given away, and where the serpent's strike becomes the spark that lights your way forward. Scorpio, the second karmic lesson that keeps circling back into your life is the illusion of control, that relentless need to hold the reins so tightly that you mistake the act of gripping for the act of guiding. When in truth, what you fear most is the vulnerability of letting go. From the outside, people see you as powerful, composed, strategic, always several steps ahead, but inside, there is a trembling child who learned too early that to lose control was to invite chaos, betrayal, or loss, and so you built walls, strategies, and silent calculations to stay safe. Yet the karmic trap is that the more you try to control outcomes, people, or emotions, the more life slips through your fingers like water clutched in a desperate fist, leaving you both exhausted and empty. Imagine standing at the shore with your hands cupped, trying to hold the tide itself, believing that if you could just grip tighter, you could stop it from leaving. But the ocean was never yours to command. It was meant to wash over you, to teach you surrender, to carry you toward horizons you cannot yet see. Scorpio, control is seductive because it gives the illusion of safety. But what it truly does is build a prison, one where the bars are made of your own fear and the key has always been in your pocket. The universe has shown you again and again that plans collapse, that people resist being shaped to your will, that destiny itself will not bend to control. And each collapse is not a punishment but a gentle or sometimes brutal reminder that surrender is not weakness but wisdom. September 30th brings this lesson into sharp focus, pulling away the curtain from whatever illusion you have been gripping. Whether it is a relationship you have tried to mold, a career path you have refused to release, or even an image of yourself that no longer matches your soul's truth. The karmic challenge will arrive like a gust of wind, tearing the papers from your hand, scattering them so that you can finally see the sky instead of clinging to the script. Scorpio, the message is clear. When you surrender control, you do not lose power, you gain freedom, for true power is not in forcing life to obey, but in aligning yourself with its flow, dancing with its rhythm, trusting that the current knows where it is carrying you. The higher lesson is this: you are not meant to be the puppeteer, but the vessel through which spirit works. And when you allow that, doors open effortlessly. Opportunities appear as if by magic, and you find peace in the very place where anxiety once ruled. The karmic loop will end the moment you realize that to control is to constrict, but to trust is to expand. And on this day of warning, you are invited to set down the burden of control, to open your hands, and to watch as the very things you feared losing return to you. Not because you forced them, but because you finally created space for them to flow. Scorpio, the third karmic lesson woven like a shadow through your destiny is the fear of loss. That haunting presence that whispers in your ear every time something beautiful enters your life, convincing you not to enjoy it fully because deep down you are certain it will be taken away. As though joy itself were a fragile glass you dare not hold too tightly lest it shatter. This fear has made you grasp too hard at love, clutch too tightly at opportunities, guard too fiercely what was meant to breathe freely. And in doing so, you have sometimes suffocated the very blessings you were trying to protect. Imagine walking through a garden in full bloom, roses opening to the sun, lilies perfuming the air. Yet instead of inhaling their beauty, you fixate on the thought that one day their petals will fall, and so you pluck them early, denying yourself the chance to witness their natural unfolding. Scorpio, this fear of loss is not punishment, but a karmic test designed to remind you that impermanence is not tragedy. It is the essence of transformation, and you, of all signs, are meant to understand that death is not the end, but the threshold to rebirth. Each time something slipped from your grasp, whether a person, a dream, or a version of yourself, you grieved as though the universe had betrayed you, when in truth it was guiding you into evolution, pruning away what no longer served so that new growth could emerge. September 30th will stir this fear like a trembling cord, presenting you with the possibility of release. And the question will rise: will you grip tighter and repeat the pattern? Or will you let go with trust, believing that what is meant for you will never truly leave? The karmic loop ends not when loss disappears, but when your relationship with it transforms, when you begin to see loss not as an ending, but as a sacred exchange, where what departs makes space for what is arriving. The lesson is clear. To fear loss is to deny yourself presence, to miss the taste of love while it is still sweet, to overlook the miracle of today by worrying about tomorrow. Scorpio, the invitation of this warning is to live open-handed, to bless what comes and bless what goes, to trust that if love leaves, it returns in another form. If money shifts, it flows in new streams. If people walk away, it is to make space for soul companions meant to stay. On this karmic day, imagine standing at the shore, watching a ship sail beyond the horizon. You can weep at the empty dock, or you can trust that the ship is carrying something precious back to you from beyond the line of sight. This is the higher wisdom of loss. It is not the universe stealing from you. It is the universe rearranging your table so that you are fed with what will truly nourish you. Scorpio, release the fear, for loss is not your enemy, it is your teacher. And when you learn this lesson, nothing can ever truly be taken from you again, because your soul will know that what belongs to you is eternal. Scorpio, by now you may wonder why the universe chose September 30th as the day to sound this final warning. Why this date? Why this moment? Why now? And the answer is written not in coincidence but in cosmic alignment. For on this day, the energies of closure and awakening collide like two great tides meeting in the middle of the ocean, stirring waves that will not leave your soul untouched. Imagine the sky as a vast clock, its hands turning not with seconds but with planetary movements. And on this date the gears shift in such a way that karmic cycles long hidden come to the surface, demanding resolution. The moon whispers endings, the sun illuminates hidden corners, and Saturn, the keeper of lessons, stands as a stern teacher calling attendance, checking who has studied, who has avoided, who has repeated the same mistakes again and again. September 30th is not merely a number on the calendar. It is the sound of the universe striking the bell of your destiny, reverberating through your chest, making your heartbeat align with divine timing. This is why patterns feel more intense now, why old faces or memories may resurface, why your emotions may feel rawer than usual. Because this date is a checkpoint, a karmic crossroads where the choice cannot be delayed any longer. You may feel as if you are standing on a bridge, the past burning behind you, the future shrouded in mist ahead, and the only way forward is to take a step with faith. Scorpio, September 30th matters because it is the universe's way of saying, enough, the lesson must be faced now, or the cycle will continue heavier. It is both a warning and a gift, urging you to rise. Scorpio, when the karmic weight presses hardest, the instinct is to fight or to flee, but the true path forward is neither resistance nor escape. It is healing. And healing begins with choosing to see your wounds not as curses, but as sacred teachers guiding you toward freedom. To break free from betrayal, you must stop carrying the venom in your veins. Write it down. Release it in fire or water, speak it aloud and let it dissolve so that its shadow no longer governs your choices. To break free from control, you must practice surrender in small ways each day. Let go of outcomes you cannot shape. Breathe into the uncertainty. Remind yourself that the tide flows whether you grip it or not. To break free from the fear of loss, you must learn to stand open-handed, blessing what comes and blessing what goes, knowing that life's rhythm is an eternal dance of arrivals and departures. Healing is not a single act, but a practice, a ritual of choosing again and again to respond with wisdom where once you reacted with pain. Imagine yourself standing at the center of a storm, not trying to stop the wind, but closing your eyes and letting it move through you, realizing you are not the storm but the calm at its center. On September 30th, this is the invitation to practice release, to write your forgiveness, to meditate on what you cannot control, to breathe deeply into the spaces where fear once lived. Scorpio, healing is the bridge between karma and freedom, and every step you take across it, no matter how small, is a declaration that you will not be defined by the past, but transformed by it. This is how you break free. Scorpio, though your journey often feels solitary, as if you walk through shadows alone, carrying secrets too heavy to share, the truth is you are part of a vast soul family, a constellation of kindred spirits who mirror your struggles and echo your lessons, reminding you that no one truly heals in isolation. Each betrayal you've endured, each battle for control, each fear of loss you've faced has also been faced by countless others who now walk beside you in spirit. Some you know, some you will never meet, yet all connected through the invisible web of shared karmic growth. Imagine thousands of candles scattered across the darkness, each one representing a Scorpio who has felt the same pain. And when your flame flickers low, their light surrounds you, ensuring you are never consumed by the night. September 30th is not only your checkpoint, but a collective threshold, where souls awaken together, where your healing becomes part of a greater tide that lifts others as well. This is why sharing matters, why speaking your truth opens doors not only for you, but for those who listen. for vulnerability creates bridges stronger than any armor ever could. In this cosmic classroom, every story told is a lantern for another traveler. Every scar revealed is a map for someone still searching for the way out of their labyrinth. Scorpio, your power multiplies when you connect, when you recognize that your battles, though deeply personal, are also profoundly universal. The karmic lessons are not just yours to carry, but yours to transform into wisdom that others can use. And in offering that, you weave yourself into a tapestry of souls who rise together. You are not alone, and you never were. Scorpio, as this journey circles back to its center, remember that September 30th is not merely a date, it is a final call, a turning point that demands your choice to repeat the karmic cycles of betrayal, control and fear of loss, or to rise above them, carrying forward the wisdom they were always meant to teach. The universe is not threatening you, it is awakening you, urging you to see that time is precious, that patterns will not shift until you do, and that this moment is the invitation to step into freedom. The warning is clear: delay and the cycle continues heavier. Answer, and you break through to the life you were destined to claim. Scorpio, thank you for walking this path with such courage, for listening to the voice of spirit, for allowing yourself to feel the fire and the healing alike. If these words resonated with your soul, let them be the sign you've been waiting for. Share this message, connect with your fellow Scorpios, and subscribe so that you never walk this road alone. The cosmos is holding its breath, watching, waiting, ready to flood your life with light the moment you choose to step through the door.